lavender anchor hold down the road from Vago House. Every day she done suited up for battle in her Moretta and a lid which would rest on the rim of her fishbowl to keep in her thoughts. An early enlistment she was indeed. Every day she done gallied from her crooked lavender shanty with her great big bats and her great big pack off into no man's land. As she did vent, she emmed hymns to herself in snake's bit to let her galley to Vago House without a howl in the bright blue river. She with greatest quietude and secret sickness walked the line to Vago House, which lay behind the minefield which was no man's land. The firmament was like a mirror, reflecting her battered body across the sky, violet like the bags beneath her eyes and the grass, yellow like the hammer and as sharp as the reaping hook. No man's land was a blood-soaked war zone. On the A day it felt like the train station where soldiers to depart and pacifist mothers shattered like teacups. But all we could see was the muddy clearness of an empty mind and the broken souls of her shores. She done gallied across the Durfee Trail. Her clickers grit around the bit of the Moretta and snakespit crows filled her fishbowl and swirled through the water like rose petals. With every step, the sound of sirens became louder and louder. The voices of the ancestors roared from beneath the earth. But Sophia did galley up the Durfee Trail by the chai she done ogled and the taraqui she done saw at the unholiest of hours, which spoke of hope after the war. To keep her heart beating steady and her feet on the path which was built on dirty needles and the lenses of broken heart-shaped glasses, she only for a moment let her clickers release the bit and sang to herself quietly and in secret the hearse's hymn. She prayed, one day this little way of stitching herself together may let her shine like golden joinery, but until that day would come, she knew she must bite the bit and dull in her shine. Though her bats made her journey rough, she done stepped between the poorly planted zaptic bombs beneath the earth. She stepped, bleeding through her boots and down under the roses which grow behind her and unto our red linens and the lines which rest on our forehead and in between my eyes. Vago House was never a place of virtue or security for a Bijou fete. In fact, it was a place which fear seeped through every pore in the walls, and the wet bed sheets of our ancestors paved the hallways to keep their lettings off the floor. So by the time they hunted and let, they could peel it all the way, and the halls would still shine with glory, so their victors may parade through that place with pride, and our heads on mop sticks like Nancy's little wooden horses. Sophia went down the water closet. She did fall 1,000 feet through that hole in the ground. Down the rabbit hole, Peter Pan's shadow did sing as she shone like rays from the black sun unto a theater of broken dolls and unwanted toys donated by the fairies of Greenwich Village. Her charcoaled face glistened in the shadows as her stomach began to rumble. Ooze and slime drip, 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 dripping down her fucking face and onto her non-existent tits and onto the floor of the bathroom. Sophia washed the blood off her hands she had not yet shed, and as the shadow leaped from the velvet darkness and unto her body like a second skin, hands up her skirt and nails into her skin, needles puncturing her cervix like a pincushion. I swear to God, I'm no pincushion, and God, she did tell me that I am no pincushion. I told you, I am no pincushion. And in that moment, the water running from the tap turned red like rust and covered Sophia's hands. We looked up, and in the mirror looking back at us, Peter Pan's shadow did nuzzle its face into our shoulder and whisper into our ears as her hands did grip the mask. Tiptoe, tiptoe. By the window, in your garden, tether your worth to these seeds I'll plant beneath the roots of your muladhara tree. I'll watch razor blades and dirty needles grow like thorns around your branches years after my disappearance. Hear my childish cries on the soles of your feet. Bleed with me unto the altar of my brothers. Sing to me Alice Cooper in your broken cries and die on the floor of this water closet. But walk 1,008 feet first and then return. My pain will be your Adi Guru divine masochist. She opened her mouth, and her tongue, dark and red and unholy like the goddess Kali on methadone, came rolling out from her face like a party blower, holding a pair of heart-shaped glasses. The shadow held Sophia, pulled back on her Moretta, but our Bijou Nymphette stubbornly gripped the bit with her clickers. The shadow done whispered in the ear of the child, broken pottery and gold leaf are nothing compared to oil and smoke. You'll thank me for breaking you down and burying the good parts so far beneath the earth at the bottom of this rabbit hole. Maybe by the end of time, you'll have enough value to fuel the machine. Now release the bit, or watch your teeth fly up through the rabbit hole and down onto the floor of the water closet. Sophia done gripped the mask as the foul shadow done pulled the Moretta from her face, and her clickers did fly like moths to a flame, up, and out! The child howled, and a bright blue river did flow as the shadow did gently place those heart-shaped glasses over her whitened face, before dissolving into the walls like a sugar cube on an absinthe spoon. It took hours of experience, but only moments of time. Over time, she built a trail through the minefield. Every dawning, our bijou nymphet Sophia done saw the shadow of Peter Pan rise from behind the cotton sailing from within the hunting halls. She sat in the pews awaiting something with meaning, but rather the water which lay within her fishbowl did swirl and turn black as she sat in static blankness. The lighter ones cared not. Mostly they did shekel towards the great board of white, like a wailing wall in prayer. A small black dove done sat on the windowsill. Sophia looked upon the wee thing, and out of the static blankness the bird spoke thus. I am thinking of arcs and angels, the secret of durable pigments, prophetic sonnets, the refuge of art, and this is the only immortality you and I may share, my Lolita. It flew away, and with soiled wings, spreading charnel ground ash throughout the skies as it did, and in that moment, our bijou Sophia went on autopilot. For the Taraki once said there would be hope after the war, and the Chai said the same. But Sophia did not want to be there until the viewing, for it was easier to pick up her own pieces and build again, but it was hard to watch the bomb go off. With bits that fly and red billowing from the earth to the firmament, for she now knew there may be hope after the war on Infex, but she will never again be the same, and the sacred pigments which along with the typewriter ribbon will pull her from the abyss one day, but then she knew she was about to fall in, and that was scary enough. Dear Spinelli, I'm writing to you from the bottom of the foxhole. She cries for hours on end. I'm floating down a river of her tears, the shadow's tears, in the mouth of a ticking crocodile. Within these four walls, I'm counting its teeth and counting my blessings and the fucks I have to give, and it's easy, for there are so few of each. The motions of it all make me feel sick. I'm either going to sit here and wait to get my fucking hand bitten off, let the damn thing swallow me whole, or I'm going to dissolve into the shadows, reverberating walls, and become one with the trap, like a sugar cube on an absinthe spoon. If I was the trap, I'd shine like oil and latex and float like smoke, like the shadow. I'd take the soiled doves which sing hymns to their ancestors and pin them below the bolts of downtown sewer grates and waterboard them in writer's tears and silent disappointment. But I think I'd rather lose my hand than become one with the trap. I like to think I'm more than a violent molasses trap. Spinelli, I can hear the cogs turning and the creature's abnormal heartbeat and the vile creature's hungry tick, 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 ticking, and my heart races and my feet are glued to the floor of her mouth, and I wait in silence for the being to chew me up like cheap thrills and spit me out into the water, a trap full of seed, tinted with lavender lipstick poured from her lips into the hungry mouth of the ocean. The current guides me through the water with a firm hand on my lower back and sickeningly bony fingers pointing to a whirlpool in the center of an upcoming empty cave. We shoot down the river, spinning like a whirling dervish. The shadow's cries have become wrapped in velvet darkness, and the crocodile and I come crashing into emptiness and land amongst the stones of blood and screams. Peter Pan's shadow descends from above. Her cries cease, and for the first time in 4 years, I'm feeling no fear. She's like a black silken kerchief lost to the wind, landing by chance among this barren cave. I kick my feet loose and step from the mouth of the crocodile and into the cool waters, and as I do, the crocodile leaps into the air and snatches up the wispy thing and swallows it whole like a Xanax tab in a mouthful of red wine. The ticking time bomb licks my fingers and swims away into the darkness, and here I sit alone in this cave. From the bottom of the foxhole, I'll wait for your ink-covered hands and a rope woven from typewriter ribbons and horsehair. Pull me to my feet. May I have the courage to give myself the same mercy for my sins which I received from the jaws of the crocodile. Bring me hope and palanca and camel cigarettes. Stitch me back together and pray the shadow was wrong. Clay pots and gold leaf and old tacky trinkets carry the value of the spirit over the value of emerald paper. May one day the red sun rise upon Christ City. Dear Sophia, the sun smiles in vivid color for the first time, and through the eyes of a child your heart sings to me in the world's mother tongue. The cycle has come to an end. We have come full circle. What once was a minefield became a cemetery, and now a garden grows there of poison ivy and weeping willows. Lilacs grow through my teeth, woven like threads and knotted like seed. Rudraksha seeds fall from the firmament and land amongst my late vessel. I feel 1 and 100 and also 8. I am in love with the world and all our beautiful divine soul. We are 1, we are 100 and also 8. Our mind has gallied across the country, through many states and counties, in British hospitals and Canadian reserves, in the largest Hindu libraries in the entire world. I will always choose to stay here rather than follow my feet. It's a lesson you'll learn. The good things surround you and lie behind red curtains and are hidden beneath a thick layer of dust and dreams. Do not wait for me to let down my rope of horsehair and typewriter ribbons. You've woven it in your sleep with your own bloody hands. In the dark, it looks like a noose, for it hangs above your head. The mothers of Auschwitz hear your prayers. They hear our cries and sing to us in Spanish and in Russian and in Korean and in German. They weep in Yiddish and bleed in English. Oh, 1 million mothers of divine hopelessness, we rest at your lotus feet. Seraphs set ablaze and fueled by divine anger and passion, burn bright and show us how to move forward on empty tanks and endless devotion. Sophia, when you descended into the foxhole, you weren't sent unarmed. The boots you wear are made from magic and soldiers' tears and the bite of the bullet. Let them support you. And open the pack on your back. You carry tools sent by artisans in Peter's old Zippo. Strike it, hold it to the sky, and create an artificial sun to guide you through your darkest days, because now the sun shines in vivid color through the eyes like stained glass, eyes painted with innocence and unconditional love. The communist flag will rise in your living room. St. Bridget hangs it with love above the hearth. And we still sing to her Hungarian lullabies of nationalism and shaking glasses and wine stains, because it's what we know and it's what we feel. On opium, in Edmonton, in 1920, on the brink of a breakthrough. We're on the brink of a breakthrough, hopeful, like your favorite fascist from the past, the great leader who sings in exotic cries and adorns himself in magnolias and little green band-aids. Sometimes, and by sometimes I mean at the worst possible times, my inherent softness shines through, and I'll awaken to the fact that I am printed with fingers. Childish prints which still linger, and bound in red and yellow leather and dressed in our regalia. We sing songs of divine hopelessness. Dear child, grab a book and join the choir, or sit tired and weary in your anchor hold like the anchorites, enveloped in white noise and carbon-colored robes. My heart sings in violent color and enthusiasm. I died before I was born, you tell me, and I tell you, Sophia, you are no ghost. Ardhanarishwara, sing me to sleep on our boat ride across the American Ocean on our trip to New York. Tap your fingers to the sound of our beating hearts on my empty journal erased. Sing to me in your golden tongue, child of pauses and pupils and India ink and blackened eyes. Hold my broken fingers in your winnowing basket as we drift towards the surface of the moon at the bottom of the lake, toward your little toy ship. Oh, woman of Ireland, with your face of superstition and gentle patience, divine anarchist, hold me in my saffron robes, for it was you who showed me I wanted to be a saint to prove my suffering had meaning. Dreamily smile to me beneath the ocean, sink our ship in Nova Scotia, in Bangalore, in Patterson, in Debrecen, and Seattle. We've seen each other 1,008 times, and will do so again under the light of the red sun which rises over Christ City. 1,000 faces, but only 2 sets of eyes over our burning farmhouse on the side of the yellow highway. 1,000 faces, but only 2 sets of eyes.